Hi, Eli.
Hi.
How are you today?
Uh, okay.
Just okay?
Yeah, I just woke up.
Oh my gosh.
I only have 3 classes and they start at 11:25, so I don't get up till 11.
Oh gosh. Good morning, Victoria, or I guess afternoon.
Yeah, hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was just thinking about how you scared me on Friday. I giggled about that off and on all weekend. My kids think it's hilarious to scare me because my startle reflex is usually pretty big and dramatic.
Yeah.
I just always has been for me. They were laughing so hard.
Yeah. It's like somebody when I'm talking with something, I remember something or I understand something. That is my reaction. And it's like, Victoria, you scare me. Like, sorry, I can't.
Oh gosh. Gives me a good chuckle.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we're still missing lots of people, so hang tight for a minute, guys.
Perfect.
All here. All right, well, we might just get started then. All right, so today we're going to start something new. We are going to be looking at what are called nonograms. Okay, so we're going to be looking at these puzzles called nonograms. Okay, they are Japanese crossword puzzles, basically. Okay, that's what they're called. This is kind of what they look like. So I'll zoom in on one in a second, but ultimately they make pictures. Okay, ultimately they make a picture. This is what the crossword puzzles kind of look like. So it's a picture encoded in numbers. So all these numbers mean something. So the goal of the puzzle is to restore whatever picture is in here. Now, all of these numbers, what they mean, so there's numbers along the top and along the left side. Okay, the list of numbers describes how they're going to be grouped, meaning there's a group of 1, followed by a group of 2, followed by a group of 5. There has to be at least one space in between the 1 and the 2. There could be more, but there has to be, hold on one second. There has to be at least one space between the group of 1 and the group of 2, and at least one space between the group of 2 and the group of 5. Okay, so that's what the groupings mean. Like here, this is just a big row of 11. Up here, this is a set of 5, at least one space, and a set of 4. Okay, so we're going to be filling in these little boxes. The first step that you really want to think about when doing this is the size of your grid. Okay, you have to know the size of your grid. So in this case, they try to highlight like 5 at a time, so it's a little bit easier to count. So there's 5, and then there's 4 more. So it's a total of 9 boxes. Same way this way. It's a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is a 9 by 9 grid. Okay, that 9 is important because, like for instance here, there's 9 boxes colored. Well, that would go all the way across, right? So that's why it's important to know the size of your grid. All right, so here's our, I lost my pen. All right, so here's my 9 by 9 grid. I lost my pen. There we go. So keep in mind, this says I have to have 9 blocks, right? Which means I'm going to color in 9 blocks. Hold on one second. I had this all set up so that we had blocks here. Hold on, guys. Let me fix this so this works. I was goofing around with this earlier and I messed it all up. There's, okay, so that means I would need 9 blocks all filled in. I'm going to show you how to do this faster, but hold on. Ooh. All right, so this 9 is taken care of. All right, so I've taken care of those 9. Now, the other thing I notice here, I need a box of 5 and a box of 3, right? But I also have to have a space in here. So 5 plus 3 is 8, a space between them is 9, and it's 9 long. So I could do that row there. I know I need to have 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I know there has to be a space between those groupings. So then I would also have 3 here, right? Okay, so now the other thing that's going to happen is I'm going to be able to figure out, I know this needs to be blank, right? So I'm going to put a little X there. I know that has to be blank. I've eliminated something. Okay, now this next row, oops, let me mark off my, I got my 5 and my 3 taken care of. This next row is the exact same thing, right? I have 5 and I have 3. So let's do, so that's going to look exactly the same. Is that okay so far? All right, now I start checking other rows now. So for instance, 1, 2, 3, 4, then I would have to have a space, that's 5, a space is 6, a space is 7. Okay, I don't really know how that's going to be spaced out yet. Okay, and I don't see anything that adds up to be 9 up here. So now I'm going to look at my columns here. There has to be 4 blocks here. Well, notice I have 1, 2, 3. So my 4th one is going to have to be right here because I have to have a whole grouping of 4. Right? I can't leave a space because then I wouldn't have a group of 4. So I know this has to be a 4. And then that 4 is done, which means nothing else can be in this row because I have that 4 done, or that column, right? So that means that this is gone. That's been eliminated. That's eliminated. That's eliminated. And this is eliminated. This column has a group of 3, right? This says I need a group of 3. Okay, well, I have a group of 3 already. I have 1, 2, 3, which means that's also done. So all of these are going to be eliminated because I already have that group of 3. All right, so now this says a 1 and a 3. Well, I have my group of 3, but remember there has to be at least one space between my group of 1 and my group of 3. There could be more, and I don't know where it is. That I don't know where this 1 is going to be yet. Okay, so I have this taken care of, and I have my bottom 3 taken care of. I don't know where that 1 is going to be yet because I still have lots of possibilities. All right, so keep going. I have 4, 2, and 4. Along the bottom, I have 1, 2, 3. So this would have to be a 4. I know I need at least one space between the 2 and the 4. Again, though, I don't know where the 2 are going to be. Okay, I have a 2 and a 3. So 1, 2, 3. I have those already. There has to be at least a space between the 2 and the 3, but I don't know where that's going to be. Okay, so now I just have a 4. Well, I've already started out with 1 down here, so my next 3 are going to have to be filled in because I have to have a group of 4, and I have to use this because I've already marked it. So that means then these are going to be my 4 blocks, and then these are going to be empty. All right, so let me mark off. We know we're done with this. We know we had our 3 and we know we had our 4. All right, so here, 3, 1, 2, 3, we've got those, right? And we know we have to have at least a space. Okay, my 3 and 3, I've got my 3 down here. I know I need at least 1 space. I have 3 here, I need a 4. So I need to bring over a box. And I know I need at least a space. All right, so I got those done. Now, I don't know much about these. So now you kind of go back to the side and start working sideways again. I have those done, I have those done. Okay, now look here. I have a 1, a 1, a 1 again, and a 1 again. So that's actually all done for us. That worked out kind of nicely, right? Okay, this row can only have a box of 1, which we actually already have right here, which means the rest of that row should be empty. So I'm going to put my red boxes there. Okay, now a group of 3. So that means I have to use this box, right? So let's say that's the end. It could be 1, 2, 3. It could be 1, 2, 3, or it could be 1, 2, 3, right? I don't know how those 3 are shifted. But what I do know is if this is the very last one, this would be 3, 2, 1, it's not going to use this box, right? So I can eliminate this box. I can do the same at the other end because I could start my grouping here, 1, 2, 3. I just don't know which way it's going to go left and right yet. All right, so now, forgot to cross this one off. Now, look at this row here. I know I need a group of 2 and a group of 2. So there's going to have to be a group of 2 in here and a group of 2 in here. My problem is I don't know if it's a 1, 2 or a 1, 2, right? I don't know if it's shifted to the left or shifted to the right, but I do know that regardless if I have 1, 2 or 1, 2, that block is going to be used. I just don't know which way it's going to go. Same thing for this 2, right? I know this block is going to be used, but I don't know which way it's going to go. All right, we'll come back to it. So now the next row, block of 2 and a block of 2. Same exact situation. So I know that has to be a block and this has to be a block. All right, group of 2. I have no idea where that's going to go. So then you start looking up and down again. Okay, a group of 1. Oops. We have a group of 1. I don't know where it's going to go in here. A group of 2. I already have that, right? I have that, so I can mark that as done. And I'm going to mark out here my X's and my X's because that's done. I need a group of 2. I don't really know where that's going to go yet, but notice if I put a group of 2 right here, that's not going to work because this says I need a group of 2 in this row, and I can't get a row because I have an X and an X on each side. I can't get my 2, so I can guess that that's not going to be used. All right, so now somewhere in here has got to be my group of 2, right? So again, it could be the first 2 or it could be the second 2, not sure which, but both of them use this block. So now I have my first group of 2. So I can cross that off and now know that this one is empty, right? Okay, so we're narrowing it down for my column of 1. Got it narrowed down for my column of 2, so let's go over here. I have 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it could either be the first 3 or the second 3. Either way, I don't know, but I do know it's going to use these 2, right? I don't know if it's going to be shifted up or shifted down, but that helps us because remember this row had 2. So I can cross out this 2 and I can cross out this 2. So this row is done. I'm going to put my X. This second 2 is done, right? So I know this has to be an X. I still don't know which way this is going to go yet. All right, so I got my 3, I got my 3. Okay, now I have a 1. Well, I only have one block open, so that has to be darkened in. All right, so that means then that one's done. This is done. Now keep in mind, this row had to have 2. Well, this has to be one of them. So this has to be the other, right? Because they have to be together. So there's my 2. And I've finished this row. So I can put X's everywhere else in that row. All right, so now we have to have 2 here. Oh, I still have to have my 3 here, So I can eliminate this one, 1, 2, 3, because we did this column already, right? So now we have our 3. I can eliminate this. I can cross out my 3 here. I have my 3 here, so I have 1, 2. I only have one block open now, so I can take care of that. All right, so now, let's see where we are. Okay, so this row has to have 3. 1, 2, this is my only option, so this has to be 3, which means I now have my 3 for this row. So that's taken care of. This column has to have 2, which I now have, right? So we have now, that's eliminated. This one still has to have 1, and this row still has to have 2. So there is my last piece. All right, so that looks kind of sloppy, but it makes like it's called a sprout, like a plant sprout. So the pictures are a little harder to see when they're smaller, but that's the idea of it. All right, so now the way we did it is kind of tedious, but I needed to talk you through it a little bit. I'm going to show you what it's going to look like on the website that we're going to use. Okay, so the nice thing about using the website is if you're wrong, it's going to help you figure that out. All right, so let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here for you. All right, so everything that we're going to do is going to give you usually a dimensions up here. Okay, so you can just count that way. So it's 7 going across, it's 21 going up and down. So the first thing I would do is I would look for my 7s. Okay, so I have 7 across, so I can just click on it and it'll turn it black. Okay, now it lags a little bit, but notice it blocked out the 7 for us. Okay, here 2 plus 4 is 6, a space in the middle would make 7. So that means I need 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the same thing here, I have 1, 2, and I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. So now here's the nice thing, watch what it's gonna do. Give it a second. Okay, it fills in the X's for you, and it blocks everything off. Okay, now 5. I have a grouping of 7 here, right? So if we think about the extremes, I'm gonna snip this for a second. All right, so I have a row of 7 and I have the number 5, right? Okay, so I could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going here. But if I think about the other extreme, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I don't know are the 2 end pieces. Regardless of which end it starts at, it's going to use those middle 3 together, right? So what we can do is we can mark the middle 3, and that typically helps us as we go. All right, so I'm going to mark these middle 3. I don't know how it's going to help us yet, but one thing I want you to notice then, if I look up here, see how I'm supposed to have 4 at the bottom, a grouping of 4? I have my grouping of 4. If you right click, it'll put an X there. And if you give it a second, it should take off that 4. Same thing is gonna, yep, there it goes. Same thing is gonna happen here. I have a 4 at the bottom, I'm gonna X that out. Okay, and give it a second and it'll mark it out. If it doesn't mark it out after a while, you probably did something wrong. Okay, now I have a group of 2 and a group of 2. I don't know which way those 2s are going to be shifted, but I do know then it would share that middle block. And I also know that these two have to be one of my groups of twos. All right, now, I don't know that one yet. We can check over here. See how it says 8 and 5, then we have a 5. So I have a group of 4. I just don't know if the 5 is going to go up top or down below. Right? So I'm not sure, but I do know if this is my group of 5, this is going to have to be non-existent, right? If it's only a group of 5. So I can mark all of those out because that could help me along the way. Same thing with this group of 5. I'm not sure which way it's going to be shifted, so I can't really do anything there. Let's check this one. This is 15 plus 4 more is 19. A space is 20. Another space is 21. And that's actually that dimension. So that means I need 7. I need a space, and then I can do 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And give it a second. It'll fill in the X's for you. And it should mark off our 7 and our 8. Notice that it also looks sideways for us, right? It marked off that 1. Here I need a 2, which means it's going to have to be 1, 2 or 1, 2. So all of these can be eliminated. Now, this one has a 1, and I have my 1 right here. If you don't mark off on either side of it, it won't cross it off. So it wants you to recognize that you did find your 1. I don't know where that other one is. Same thing's happening here and here. So if I mark my X's here, it'll then recognize that I don't have this yet, or I have those parts. Okay, so a 3. It could go 1, 2, 3. It could go 1, 2, 3, but I know then it can't be this one and this one. Okay, same thing here. I can mark off those. I don't know anything about this one yet. 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So regardless, I'm using those 4. I just don't know which way the 5th one is going to be shifted. All right, so then I have 1 and 3. I don't know much about that yet. These are hard right in here. So now my 5 again. My 5 again. We've eliminated this box already. So I don't know if it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or from the other end. Regardless, though, those are all going to get filled. All right, 1, 3, 1, we don't really know. We don't know that one yet. Here we need 5. We don't know how that's going to be filled. All right, so then what I would check here, I would check my 8. Let's see if we count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it could go down to here, or 1, 2, 3, 4, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or it could go up to here. So what we're going to do is fill in those in-betweens that it could be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because then that helps us going this way. Because I know I have to have a group of 3. So here's my 1, 2. This has to be the 3rd. This has to be blank. I have 3, 1, 2, 3. Oops, 3. There has to be a blank. I have a 3, 1, 2, 3. Has to be a blank. My 3 is 1, 2, 3. Has to be a blank. Okay, now you also have this option here to check the crossword. Okay, and you can check it and it'll tell you if there's an error. There is a little bit of lag time with it, so it's a little frustrating, but there it is. All right, so now, so we have 8 and 5 we don't know much about. We have 2 we don't know much about. I need a 1, 2, and 8. So if I'm gonna have a 1, I could have a 2 here, but that means I have to have a blank. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that works out perfectly. So there's a 1, there's a 2, there's a blank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, then it'll fill that in for us. All right, we need a 5, 1, 2, 1. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But wait, we have to use this, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Potentially, well, wait a minute, hold on. Let me make sure I'm thinking about that right. Oh, good thing, okay. Oh, I have an error somewhere. 5. All right, let's see if we can check our crossword here because something's not right. Well, maybe I'll just try over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here we go. All right, there's that. I have this bottom one. Okay, so I have this one here. All right, then I need a 2, which I don't know how that's going to go. Then I'd have to have a 5. That was a mistake. Okay, so then I'd have to have my 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be a 5. I need a blank, and then I need to have a 1. All right, so I should have that now. I don't think that's right. No, something didn't go right there. Oh, I see what happened here. Look, I have too many together because I had a 1 and a 1. Let's see if that works. There we go. Sorry, I screwed it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would give me my 8. I would need a space, and there's my 5. So to fill that in for me, I need a 1, 3, and 1. So to have my 3, there's that. That means that it's only my 1 and my 1 there. I need to have a 2 here, so there's my 2. And then finally, when you're done, it says, congratulations, it's completely solved. What's going to happen is when you hit OK, it's going to take away all the mess, and we made some lipstick here, is what we made. All right, so that's what you have to do in order to solve them. Normally, this check the crossword is there, okay? Down at the bottom here, see where it says mark of an empty square? I put it as a cross as a medium. You could do a point. Okay, so you can change some of these settings here if it makes you feel better. So basically what's going to happen is I put a slide in Google Classroom. There is a little tutorial here, like if you're completely lost. But when you go to the website, hold on, it's going. When you go to the website, I have it directed to do the tiny ones, okay? So all of these are your list of the ones that are considered tiny. Okay, you can, I have it set to show the names. You don't have to show the names, but you're gonna try one of these and you're gonna take a picture and you're gonna upload it. Okay, make sure you're on tiny because when you get to small, it gets a lot harder very quickly. Okay, so I want you to do a tiny one today. Take your picture and insert it in the slide and turn it in. Any questions? Okay, go to it then and let me know if I can help you.